funny, but I really want to thank you all. Thank you all for coming tonight. We're really excited about the Ignite Shelby County grant. And I just want to take a moment to tell you a little bit about how the Community Foundation, our board of directors, and our grants committee made this possible, along with the donors that work through us to make good things possible in Shelby County. You guys probably know, because you're all involved with us pretty heavily, that really the cornerstone of a community foundation is our endowment for unrestricted grants. And these are the grants where donors say to us, we understand that there will be changing, unanticipated needs in the community that are there long after I'm gone, but we want to have that permanent impact on our community. And that's where this money comes from, is our unrestricted endowment for community grants. In August of 2014, the Lilly Endowment made matching dollars available for all community foundations in Indiana to raise additional dollars for our unrestricted endowment. And so we were really successful, and we exceeded our goal by a significant amount. And it was right in time as we began to plan for the Indiana Bicentennial. We thought, what can we do that's really kind of big and impactful? And we thought, let's make some of that money out of our unrestricted granting available for a large grant, similar to what we did in 2013 for our 25th anniversary with the Community Impact Grant. The Board of Directors and the Grants Committee set aside a little bit of money out of our budget each year, our budget for granting, to accumulate for these larger periodic grants. And so this time, the donors that made us successful with that match opportunity are the ones that will be ultimately deciding between the three finalists that you'll hear from tonight. So let's see. The way it'll flow tonight, I'll announce the order of the presenters, but the other two will wait outside, I think, just to help with the flow and everything. So I'll announce that. You have 20 minutes. Keep the presentation shorter so that there's some opportunity for question and answer, and then you'll exit, and then I'll bring the next one in, and they'll have 20 minutes. And then after that period of time, there'll be the opportunity to talk with the three organizations or the three teams here representing the three finalists for any additional questions you might have. They'll be videotaped, and because we have a lot of people that weren't able to attend tonight, either they live out of state or they had other commitments. We know there's just a lot of stuff going on right now. So these will be on our website, igniteshelbycounty.com, and linked from our regular website, blueriverfoundation.com. And we'll push that out on Facebook and things like that tomorrow too, so the videos will be available for everyone to look at. So if anybody has any questions on that, how that's going to work, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll get started. All right. Well, the order tonight will be the library, and then Girls Inc., and then the Multi-Generational Center. So, folks from the library, Laura, you just get to get it over with first, and the other two groups, help yourself to the snacks out there, and I'll...
Amy, do I need to stand kind of in that
Yeah, if you
slot?
want to stand here, that would be great. Is
You
that
want to
Chris is
move,
in?
well, I want to move the podium directly underneath that, and then it will fit.
I think
I'm gonna-
You have the
clicker.
You got a clicker? That would be wonderful.
I'll move it over to the...
I'll let you click as well.
Here, no, if you want to click or...
Well, if she's got the clicker, I'll let her do it. And that way she can.
No, it has a laser pointer on it, the green button, if you want to use that too.
Oh, perfect.
And speak really loudly, and when people, I'll announce this for the other ones too. When people ask questions, if you could repeat it, just so that it gets picked up on the video.
Well, thank you for coming. As she said, my name is Laura Ginnon, and I am the Public Relations Director at the library. I've been there for 10 years at this point. When I first moved to Shelby County, I lived out in a farmhouse that had absolutely no cell phone reception or internet reception, and the library was the first place that I went. I ended up going daily and eventually ended up working there. So it's been a good place to me, and I personally am really excited about this project. Let's see. For those of you that may be from out of state that might not know where the library is, it is downtown Shelbyville. It's just across the street from the Blue River Community Foundation and Grover Museum. And the library owns this main facility and the annex next to it. And we are hoping to transform this parking lot into a plaza. So this plaza will actually have a stage and a fountain and a lot of flexible space, so it'll allow us to host events and then also just kind of unify our property and just help with the streetscape of Broadway Street in general. So this is actually kind of in line with the trend of libraries right now as far as how they're developing. If you look at articles online or in the news, a lot of times you'll see that libraries are transforming into civic centers, or you'll hear community centers a lot. They are kind of branching out just to accommodate a larger audience, and just they're moving beyond books, even though books are important, and it's still projected that books will remain relevant along with digital materials. So this is not a reminder for you to stay quiet during my presentation, but I thought that this little excerpt that I found in an article in the Atlantic kind of just spoke well of how libraries are transforming. So I'm just going to read a small excerpt. It shouldn't take long, so hopefully you can stay with me. But it says, this is titled The Library Card. As we traveled around the U.S., reporting on the revival of towns and cities, we always made the local library an early stop. We'd hit the newspaper offices, the Chamber of Commerce, City Hall, and Main Street for an introduction to the economics, politics, and stresses of a town. The visit to the public library revealed its heart and soul. The traditional impression of libraries as places for quiet reading, research, and borrowing books, and of libraries as school-marmish shushers, is outdated as they have metamorphosed into bustling civic centers. So if you go downtown to the library now, you'll see this big sign in their foyer. They actually rent out the space for weddings, for large events, conferences. So a lot of libraries are doing this. Our library has public reading rooms that we rent out and several programs. So I'm just going to flash through some of the events that we actually host at the library. So we have children's programs, and this is an adult trivia night. That's Pause for Reading, where kids read the pets for 15-minute segments. It's kind of fun. We had a Celtic band in the library a couple weeks ago. We totally moved all the furniture out of the way and had a wine and cheese event that was really successful. This is the teen group that meets pretty much weekly. It's a really active group. That was from the wine and cheese event. We partner with a lot of organizations. This is an event at the Strand where we had a magician during summer reading. This was an author visit. The library works directly with Shelby County Reads, where we bring in an author yearly. This is a teen lock-in where teens actually stay all night at the library. I've never actually made it through the whole night, but they do. This was a Skype event who played Scout in To Kill a Mockingbird. This is Augusta Scattergood. This is another Shelby County Reads event. She spoke to all the 4th grade students. This was another author visit. And as a whole, a lot of people don't realize the traffic that comes through the library. 168,796 visits were made to the library in 2015. We had 19,203 card holders. We average about making anywhere from 25 to 50 cards a week. That's new cards. We held 758 library-sponsored programs, that's both adult and youth, and had 13,584 participants. Any resident can actually obtain a free library card, so they're available to anyone that has a valid driver's license. To host all the events, we often use the rooms in the library, and also just we partner with organizations, like we'll have an event at the Strand, or we might use a high school or a conference room like this as well. But in 2013, we actually got the idea to throw a kickoff block party for our summer reading program. And we started looking at the space between the buildings to see if that would work well. We ended up having 525 people come through that space for that event. We were kind of blown away. So we brought in a bounce house, we had face painting, we had ice cream. It was a really good event. So we started holding a few additional events. We had a community rummage sale with Arts Fest, and at that event, we really noticed how people enjoyed walking back and forth from the Grover Museum to the library, to the fire department, back and forth. It just created a lot of cross traffic. And we also had a Zumba fundraiser where they brought in the stage. So it was at this point that we really started looking at the space as something that could be developed into something more. At every single event, we noticed that we didn't have access to electrical outlets. We didn't have any shade. You just kind of cook out there. It's just kind of an eyesore with nothing in it. So the library started talking with Nye Group out of Morristown about developing a plan for the space where we could actually take care of some of those details. So the overall plan is fairly simple in design. It has 2 honey locust trees that would provide shade. It has a fountain with seat walls around it. Those seat walls, if funding is there, we could actually stamp those to look like bookends to go around, which would be kind of cool. It has some benches just to provide seating for people, and it has a stage for performances, and then in the back it would have some more green space and a bike rack. So, and it also would have lighting, so we could host evening events outside as well, which is kind of why I keep on flashing back to this image, because I don't know if you've been in that area at night, but the lighting from the fire department and the library, it's really nice. So I can imagine it with lighting in the trees and around the fountain. It would be a really inviting space. Because we're getting rid of parking in the area for the plaza, we would pave this whole back lot. So there is a home that we would remove, and that would actually increase our parking by 57%. And we'd gain a spot in front as well. So overall, it would give about 70 spots. So people wouldn't have to walk all the way to the front of the library to get in. We would transform that side door into a public entrance. And then overall, to fund everything, the Ignite grant funds would be used for the construction of the plaza, and then the library and the Library Foundation would work together to supplement the other costs for the parking lot and the design and just some additional things to add to the plaza. So maybe we could do some of the landscaping at one point and then 6 months later put in another phase of work. This project has received a lot of community support. This was our Facebook post that we just announced that we were finalists, and it got close to 300 likes, and the only comments that we really saw were people concerned about parking and how we were going to address that, which I think we have a good plan in store for that. So overall, this courtyard or plaza would be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's potential to rent it out like on a Sunday or Saturday evening for a wedding or a special event if someone would want to rent it out. So that would actually create a little bit of revenue for the library and just give the community another space that they could use to rent. So that is it. Is there any questions?
I have a question about the ongoing cost of maintenance and watering of the plants that are there. Is that part of what's built into the future budget for the library?
Yes. As a whole, it's a really sustainable project. We anticipate the replacement of like a fountain filter. We have 2 maintenance men on staff that would be able to kind of keep the basic upkeep. Utilities would increase a little bit, but I don't think by a substantial amount. And Chris might be able to answer that more.
Yeah, just to confirm that it's a very kind of low impact. With even the lighting, the LED, they last almost forever, and they use very little electricity draw from the system. Like she mentioned, a filter or something like that, maybe annually. And I think there's a organization that kind of maintains some of the existing grounds as far as the plants. Maybe their role could be expanded.
Laura, you might repeat, if you don't mind, that's okay, kind of introduce Chris and Janet and repeat what he said for the viewers at home.
Okay.
Thanks.
So she asked about the overall costs of the project, the upkeep, and whether or not that was accounted for in the library's budget. And Janet Wallace, the library director, and Chris Hansen, who we've worked with from Nye Group, confirmed that the upkeep is very low for the project. Is that okay? Yeah.
Did I see, by the way, it's very nice.
Thank you.
I like it. Is there a provision in there somewhere, and I think I saw it, or maybe you said it and I missed it, so I apologize if you did, where you'll have Wi-Fi
Yes.
availability out in the plaza?
And I missed that. I thank you for bringing that up. Conduits will actually be run underneath the plaza, which will allow us to kind of hardwire our 2 buildings, and that would also provide Wi-Fi in the plaza as well. So it would increase our Wi-Fi in the buildings right now, and also give us Wi-Fi outside.
Is your facility close enough in proximity to the downtown area with the Friday night things that the city's planned for like last year? And would doing this help you be more included in that? And what would the advantages be with the stage and the whole thing tied into the cities?
So we can answer that one. Gina, go on up there.
Can
Yeah.
you restate
Kind of
the-
restate the.
Yeah, question.
Okay, the answer, or the question was talking about the First Fridays, and I am involved in First Fridays. I'm on the committee, and we are involved, and we have done things with them, and we can also do things at our facility along with that too. So we could expand. That would be a great thing. So.
Does that answer your question?
You have 4 minutes. If you want to sing a song or, you know.
I told Chris it was 4 minutes. I started culturing, so. Since I do have a few minutes, maybe I'll just show you guys the parking plan. And by the way, the timeline for this, it could be completed in as early as 8 weeks. So it wouldn't take, or as far as the plaza itself, Chris feels like it could be done in a relatively short amount of time depending on weather. So that's a really positive part of this project as well. So our current parking, if you see all the orange spaces are regular spaces, the blue ones are handicap. So right now we have 44 spots. And there's also street side parking nearby all around as well. If we just simply remove the house and pave the lot, you're going to about 69 or 70 spots. We're considering taking it one step further and actually kind of blocking off the plaza so people would have a safe walkway to get from the parking lot to the plaza. And of course, with either plan, lighting would be included as well because the lot just needs attention. So this has a lot of what ifs. What if they would allow us to redirect the alley? What if we could just get a little bit more creative with the design? So we're looking at both options right now. And parking has been an issue for a long time. So this was something that the library had already planned to move toward anyways. So.
Do you own the property that you're going to build these parking lots on?
We do. Yeah, we own the home here, and then this is just gravel at this point. So yeah, we'd have to demolish the home, let it settle, and then pave.
And then that other one is paved already.
Okay.
I still have
All
minutes.
right. You have
Good job.
2 minutes, but you really don't have to, you know.
Well, I'll just give you some eye
Don't feel the
candy.
pressure.
I'll give you some eye candy. This, Chris is here from Night Group. They're out of Morristown. We wanted to try to keep the funds local if possible, since this was a local grant. So they've done a lot of residential work, and they've also done some corporate work as well. I have packets out front that has more information about the budget breakdown, about just the plans in general. So please pick one of those up if you're interested.
All right.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.